Hi everybody, it's Linda. I am back with my two little cutie journals. They are Valentine themed and they were so much fun to put together. I'm so glad I took the time to get these out. And they are ready to ship, so they will get to you in plenty of time before February 1st if you want to use them for a February daily. So they are almost identical. Obviously, I used a different cover image, but we're going to take a quick peek at both of them, okay? So we're going to call this Valentine Journal number 1, as it'll be listed in the in my Etsy shop, which is Joyful Makes and Finds. So it is my usual little cutie style, which means it is made from a paper bag that I covered and machine sewed with fabric, and it's lined on the inside with paper. This one, I really kind of pulled out all the bells and whistles, and these are just so sweet. I put these bronze colored or antique gold corners, and then I also put antique corners on the top little focal element. And this was an ATC that I either made or received. I don't think I made this one. I think I received this one. I used to do ATC swaps, artist trading cards, back in the early 2000s, like 2006, 2008, somewhere around there. And I have had albums full of them that I've just finally now decided to start using some of them. So I made a little beaded bulb pin here with a little bronze heart charm, and the end of the signatures are also beaded with some really fancy beads, a pearl, and this is an actual rose quartz, and this is a real Swarovski crystal, and some art beads. So the beads, everything is just really sweet on this journal. I used fabric here that was actually, I'm going to show you a little closer again. This fabric was from a Pottery Barn sheet or curtain or something that I had from when my daughter was little, and I saved that fabric and now I've been using it. I just love it. Okay, so seam binding ties and little matching bronze or antique gold eyelets. Oh, and this is a hand crocheted heart that I got from an Etsy shop, and I think it's something by Creations by Tatiana or something like that, but I will credit the shop in the description box. She makes the most beautiful little crocheted elements. Okay. Alrighty, so I made a pocket here from that lovely Pottery Barn fabric, and in the front cover is a little library card that I doweled up. This is a digital. I think it's from the Vintagebyme Etsy shop, and I put it in the description box. This is some of my favorite Valentine paper, and I used my own personal stash of vintage Valentines and made photocopies of them for a lot of the ephemera in this journal. So here's a fun tag, and I really tried hard. I got to tell you, it was difficult not to over decorate. So there's still lots of decorating that can be done, but boy, when it came to the Valentine stuff, it was hard to stop. Here's another one. I just love this girl. She shows up in a lot of my Valentines, I think. She's just so adorable. She actually looks like my sister-in-law. So here's another handmade tag. Some coffee dyed paper, a little paper bag, and there are some goodies in here. There's a little copy of one of my vintage Valentines, a little Valentine tag, a little journaling circle from a kit, from a digital, I mean. Okay, and then I just have this little decorative paper clip to hold that together. This is a digital. This is a multi-pocket, and I have some tags in here. I have a little paint chip, little tiny piece of a paint chip. It says St. Valentine, and I just wanted to include that. You can use it as a little embellishment, a tiny little tuck spot, something that you can put on a card. So I just couldn't resist that. This is just another tiny little piece of ephemera that is handmade. It's got some coffee dyed on the background, and it's just a little square for decorating. If you make your own Valentines, you can use some of these elements. There's a couple of pink tickets, and this is an actual vintage love stamp that I made this little cluster from my stash of vintage postage. And these have little what do you call it? Little baker's twine topper. Here is some writing paper. This is a page from an early 70s yearbook. Something about Valentine's Day that makes me think of classrooms and, you know, the little faces. So I always love to put some yearbook faces in my Valentine journals. This is a little tuck spot made from one of my own little vintage Valentines. And then tucked in here is a little booklet with, this has sticky glue on the back, but it's not very sticky, so I could glue that in for you. But it's a notepad. And they are also Post-it notes. So you can journal in here, you can stick it in your purse and use it for, you know, grocery lists, or, I mean, you could really do whatever you'd like. Write love notes to your family members in the month of in the month of February. Okay, a page from a vintage book. It's a vintage lettering book. It really has some interesting font. Here's some pink dyed paper. This is a page from a cookie cookbook. And it has, this one is Mexican wedding cakes. So I think the other side has something about love or some sort of related recipes. Here is some dyed graph paper. This was fun and labor intensive, but I was watching a Netflix series, so it kind of gave me something to work on. This is one of those Tim Holtz dies or Sizzix dies of a wheel, and I took little tiny images from vintage Valentine copies and alternated them with lace to cover the back. And I just tucked in this is another ATC that I've had in my collection for a long time. Just absolutely precious. And this image is a Red Lead Paperworks rubber stamp. So this is what I meant about kind of bells and whistles in this journal. There's a lot of little extra touches. This is the center of the signature, these doilies here, in this fun paper. And then, as I showed you before, I used some fancy, just beautiful beads and bead caps and things on the ends of the signature ties. And this is a belly band from that fabric, and this is a journal card that I made from a vintage index card, and then covered with a guest check or a sales receipt kind of thing. And this girl's shopping. She says, "I've been shopping around. You're the best bargain, dear Valentine." Is she adorable? Okay, anyway. I love vintage Valentines. Can you tell? I wish I had saved mine from when I was in grade school. Oh my goodness. We just didn't know back then. If I'd had a crystal ball and would have known that they would have been just priceless to me. Heavenly Mincemeat Confections, which, I don't know, to me that sounds a little gross. Mincemeat Sweetheart Cookies. So I knew there was something about hearts on here. And this is the other side of the page of the book of lettering fonts, I think it's about. Here is a fabric flip that I made using different fabrics and this great heart trim. And you can do some hidden journaling on here. You can, if you wanted to glue, you know, a page, some blank paper or lined paper over the top of this if you want to use it for hidden journaling, or you can just, you know, use it however you want. This is digital. The back side of that adorable yearbook page. This, I was going to glue in and use as a tuck spot or a pocket, but it was so pretty. I just decided to leave it blank. I have these envelopes, and I actually sell these envelopes in my Etsy shop if you're interested in them. And I ran it through with an embossing folder, and I just think it turned out so pretty. I just lightly distressed it with some pink distress stain, and then I have to tell you, this is my favorite scrapbook paper of all times, ever, 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 ever. And I won't say hoard, but every little scrap I use very mindfully. So this is something from my heart to yours. So I don't know what it is about this little rosebud, vintage rosebud fabric in this dirty pink, but oh my gosh, it just makes me so happy. So I did use it for a Valentine in each one of these journals. So I hope you know that these are made with love. Okay, and then this is the back side of the paper bag, and it has some rose tea. Isn't that pretty? I actually, I always buy this in the winter for Valentine's Day, and I don't know if I've ever tasted it, so I can't tell you. But it sure is pretty. I can't tell you how well it tastes, but it is pretty tea. And I just made a little, I just kind of zhuzhed up this envelope. I mean, this paper bag. Hello, there we go. Sorry. With some fabric and lace. This is an adorable little Care Bear card from the 80s. A vintage card with this adorable little sweetheart bear. And this is another tag that I created using that same embossing folder. And it's just turned out so pretty. And I have a little bulb pin with Made with Love charm and some dyed seam binding there in this pocket. And the very back page, I decorated this envelope from my heart to yours, and it has a personal letter from me. And this back pocket, I just left open just so, you know, you can also access the outside pocket of the actual paper bag. So that's the back cover. And I did line the inside of the paper bag where the spine is with Tyvek. If you look really, really deep down in there, I can see it, but I don't know if you can. But anyway, that will reinforce and keep it from tearing. Well, plus it also has this heavy fabric and lace on the outside. Okay, so this is my Vintage Valentine Journal number 1. Let's look at number 2. It's about the same. I am going to interject here and tell you that each of the journals will come with a packet of offcuts. And I also made these tags with another one of my favorite Vintage Valentines with this vacuum. It says, "You feel the vacuum in my heart." But the tag is kind of too tall for the journals. So because I printed out the copies just too tall, but I wanted to include them. So you're going to get that. You can tuck it in there if you don't mind that it sticks out over the top, or you can use it somewhere else in your Valentine adventures. So this one has a slightly different cover in that I used a different ATC on the front. Has a little bit of different colors, but those colors are also in this fabric. So I felt like it was kind of a nice little contrast. And I put a big pearl on this one to kind of go with the off-white in the image. The inside, I really don't know if there's any differences. So we're just going to flip through this one pretty quickly. Same little fun doodads in here. There's Vintage Valentine, a heart tag, a little round circle Valentine little journaling card. And then she's going to bumble with the paper clips because that is what I do. Okay, there we go. And this is the multi-pocket page in this. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I was in camera. This has another little ATC that I made in the top. So this one has a couple different little items than the other one did. This also has, these were Valentines that I made several years ago, and I had just this little cutout of this embossed heart stamp that I had done. So I just included that. And a tag and some tickets. And I used a different vintage love stamp in my embellishment here. And here is the page from the yearbook. This is the little notebook for this journal. It's got 6 pages of writing and the little vintage Valentine tuck. Filled cookies. Page from Cookie Cookbook. Here is the little tuck for this one that I glued the Vintage Valentines and the lace to, and inside is an ATC that I made many moons ago, tucked in there. Center of the signature with the same beautiful beads that includes crystals and pearls and lots of pretties there. Okay, and this is the same little journaling card that I made and the belly band. It's got a little love charm hanging from that. This is the that lettering paper. Just thought it was really pretty. This is the fabric flip for this one. There's also a little heart flip on this. Oops, sorry. I know I scoot these around as I talk. I apologize if I'm scooting them right out of frame. Okay, this is that same envelope with my favorite scrapbook paper in there. A little heart from my heart to yours. And this has the rose tea bag inside. I won't open it this time, but it has a little different fabric scrap on the little cluster there, holding it on the paper clip. This is the vintage Care Bears card. And the same little embossed tag with the Made with Love charm. And the decorated envelope with the letter from me inside. And there's also the back pocket. So this is Vintage Valentine Journal number 2, as it will be listed in my Etsy shop. If you are seeing this video, it means that these journals are now in there and available. And they do come with their own little packets that both of them include this vacuum cleaner, this vacuum cleaner tag that was too tall. So that is it for now. I'm going to go back to making my folios, my Tim Holtz folios, and I've got to tell you, I just reached a new milestone in my shop. I have not in my shop, in my channel, I have 1,500 subscribers. So I want to do a little thank you to all of you. Well, not to all of you, but to one lucky one of you. So I am making 2 identical Tim Holtz folios, and one will go in my shop and one I will do as a giveaway. So when you see my Tim Holtz folios, know that there'll be a giveaway embedded within that video. So anyway, thank you. I would love to see my channel grow even more this year. So if you like looking at the journals and have enjoyed what you've seen on my channel, please subscribe. And with every video, if you take the time to leave a like or a comment, even if it's, you know, a smiley face or a heart or whatever, that really, really helps. And it's so appreciated. I really love it when you leave personal comments, because I just absolutely love getting to know some of you. So anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Have a wonderful day. Stay warm. I know it's cold out there. Here in St. Louis, it's still pretty cold, and there's some beautiful snow on the ground. Not a lot, but a little, just enough to be pretty. And so stay warm and have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.